Alright, hello and welcome to a little subset of videos revolving around trading and just general yapping about it. I do hope if any of this content you find interesting or helps you out, do let me know. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Hello again everybody. So essentially, as far as the main part of this video will be mostly yapping and discussing about different trade, different things in the early game, mostly about, just the general etiquette as well as, trading, especially in the early to mid game, when there's not a whole lot of markets around. I will have another video coming out after this, kind of like a part 2 to it, I guess, but more or less I just want to get mostly concerning like the barter stands, as well as some cool things that you can do with them, as well as setting them up. Since now I finally have a stall over in Green Temptations, I am more able to showcase, and it makes more sense to set it up in an actual market and see it in work in a place. But for now, due to a special request, we'll be going over at least the little tidbits. I know I have covered some of it on my earlier videos, mostly with utilizing outs over the wall. I would call it over the wall trading because, you're sitting in your palisade and, somebody comes along. Get that off my screen, thank you. So if somebody comes along, you don't know them, or even if you've worked with them before, it's always best to stand aside, have an alt on another account, walk through and trade with them. Even if they do prove to be hostile people, you will only lose that item. So more or less, it's really up to how you feel about, the people you talk to, the people you interact with as you're starting your journey through the Hearthlands. I guess you could say a general etiquette to follow by is, if you're in your base, do not leave. If you see somebody walking by, you want to wait and hold off from walking around for a little bit. Sometimes it's just a scout looking for materials, or some naked doing quests or something like that. But if they come up to your gate and they see you working, or if you're around, they see you and they say hello, or if they're walking by, you can just tell them hello in the area chat, and if they stop and talk to you, there might be a chance you can form a connection there, because sometimes it won't work out and you'll accidentally be talking to a griefer or a player killer faction. But generally try to be as nice and as cool as possible, because if you're extremely rude over your wall, or if you're out in public, they can memorize you and they can hunt you down. Like if they see you out and about on the map, some people are petty like that. So just be a good person. Kind of hard when you got dealing with some people like those I shall not name, but sometimes those bad people can be quite reasonable, and if you're just a stand-up person, a lot of times they won't mess with you. Speaking of which, other than that, utilizing alts to go out and do your trading, because even if they knock and rob your alt and they take your goods, your main character will be fine, and all of your stats will be fine, and you don't have to do any backtracking, which is another thing I will do. Once I get to a certain point, I'm going to show you the process of recovering your character, and I know you could do it on an alt, but I feel it would be more impactful and meaningful to do it on a main character. But that will be a bit later. But we can cover that. I know with the Newman points, as well as the burial of your body, of your character's old corpse. And we'll cover that in a little bit in another video. But for now, you can look through your Newman points. You have to make a, let me see if I can find it real quick. Here we go, an ancestral shrine. It does take a bit of wax and a candle, but with rendered fat, it shouldn't be too problem. When I get things situated, you can, I'll show you how to use it. But if you wish to figure it out now, if you've recently lost your character and you don't have the time, build this ancestral shrine and it will give you quests. Mostly giving it random items and stuff. You can get stuff to rediscover, and your thingy walls and everything else. You can't get that knowledge back with the ancestral shrine. So don't lose hope. There's always a way. But other than that, you want to do your best judgment. So even if you do end up losing your main character out in the wilderness, you see people, like if you're out and about and you see, if you see somebody like a little arrow anywhere, or if you're using Ender with the warning toggle, keep an eye, run the opposite direction, and hope they don't try to chase you down, because some people will hunt you down. A general rule of thumb on that is, you see that toggle, you run, if you can find a burrow, get to it, and you want to hearth back to your base if you have one set up. And if not, it's a lot easier to connect with people, especially over the wall. But at the same time, you have to watch out for getting scammed, as well as losing your character and everything else with that. So just remember, visitor gates, and use an alt, because with the visitor gates, they might be able to walk in if you give the white names trespassing, but if you don't, then they'll pretty much be stuck at the gate. But you can also build like a round pole fence. A lot of people just build like a round pole fence, put a gate and another round pole fence, so that way you don't have to worry about locking or palisade, because they can't, unless, I believe if you give white names, it was either vandal or theft perms, then they can open the gates. But if you do it this way, with a round pole fence, then you will not have to worry about people just, bypassing anything, and you can leave your gates open for ease of access. Once again, you probably get tired of hearing me yapping about it, but the visitor gates will save your life and your base. Everything you can to protect yourself. So, as far on the next topic here, the fluid value of trade items, as well as early game trading. So, over time, the value of goods will depreciate. You know how like early game you can get some really like 100 quality stone axe or pickaxe for like a couple like 3 bits of wax and stuff like that, but over time peoples will have their B-skeps in action, and as more B-skeps go up, the less value beeswax will have. But early game, I would say within the first month or two, beeswax has really strong value and is the king of trade for the early game. But as time goes on, you will be wanting to look for river pearls, big gems, different things. Even good quality metal can be a solid trade option, as well as good quality clay pots, so people can, get their stuff going. But again, over time, that value will depreciate, and you will have to keep up with the quality grinds, so that way you can stay relevant in the trade game. But even if you are new, yes, even mid-quality trade pots, not trade pots, a lot of things to keep in that as you're going through the early to mid game is to have a plan. Uh, Whether you are doing the coade, oh here we go. Whether you are doing the coade clay grind or if you are making bone clay. Bone clay, for anyone wondering the difference, while we're on the topic of trading here, coade clay, you can generally go up in value. Blah 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 blah. While bone clay can be more easily made at much higher qualities, coade clay is really good for massing your goods, like having a lot more clay, because some ball clay, bricks, flint, quartz, and making glass will make you about 6 things of coade clay, if I'm reading this right. The coade clay takes about 3 hours in the ovens. You want about, make them into bricks, keep going with the grind, and eventually you'll be able to have some pretty decent clay. The only issue with the coade clay though is finding good quality flint and quartz, as well as making sure you have the lye to make the glass. But really, as you're mining, you want to keep an eye out for flint and quartz, and you can just slowly grind your way up the coade clay, and eventually you'll be able to have like maybe 10, 20 quality 100 plus kellens and pots and everything. Coade clay is really good for amassing large bits of good quality clay. It does get dragged down a bit with the ball clay if you can't find any decent one. And raw glass, it won't make much of a difference, but as you're grinding like your trees, like as you see here, I got 149 ash, which will get boosted later in my cauldron. Coade clay can be pretty good to set up for trade goods. So if you want to make some pretty good pots, do it cheaply that way. You could also make the bone clay, but honestly the bone clay stuff, you would probably wish to make stuff for yourself first before you make anything to put on any kind of market. Also, workstations and different things can have some pretty good value too, because a lot of people, especially early to mid game, will be looking for any kind of meat grinders, compost bins, herbless tables, especially if they're of a respectable quality, which I will go up over time. As far as trying to find the value of any item, it's really hard, because as time goes on, the value of the lower quality stuff obviously goes down to almost nothing. Even curdling tubs and good dream catches can make a difference. There's a lot of different ways that you can do trading. Pretty much anything, liftables, you can make the workstations. They can be sold or traded as well, especially gear and just about anything. If it's let's say I want to say a month or so in the game, quality 60 stuff will be quite hard to find, especially with like the wood-based workstations, as it'll be a lot harder to find, because as it takes a week or so for trees to grow, and it might take longer if you're not planting them on the proper terrain, which is why I definitely will always advocate tower caps for your production. Just got some compost bins ready. Yeah, we're looking at some pretty decent tower caps for mass production, but yeah, within like the first month or so, the tree qualities will be really low, and it'll be hard to find good boards because metals are trying to come online and everything else. Essentially, the early game is just going to be like beeswax, maybe some leather and various other things, maybe even fossil collections and other good curios. Could be sold for wax. Eventually, it will get to the point to where, you know, with trading with your neighbors will kind of go to a standstill, because eventually everyone around you will be happy, and they'll be like herbalists and tables and stuff will be a lot more valuable within the first couple months, because, you know, people are still trying to get the flax discovered from the wild crops, and the tree qualities are just starting. And that is a collective effort for quality grinding, because you'll have masonries, you know, your miners and your clay gatherers. Then you'll have, you know, your tree planters, your explorers with the farming skill to grab the best quality wild crops, and eventually the wild sown seeds. A cluster of many different things, and it all really depends on your neighbors and how far you are willing to travel and how much you are willing to risk to trade. Obviously, when charter stones come online and markets start working, then actually it will be a lot easier for me to show you. We're going to briefly talk about the two different kinds of markets, and I will see you when we get there. I'm going to start with the first one. Now, before we get into the markets here, one of the big benefits of knowing people and talking with them is you never know the amount of connections they might have. Because if I didn't know the people I knew, I would not know that there was another market nearby. Markets in different places, especially with the Norska water in this current world. You can also check on the forums and I think it's apples and oranges. There'll be a lot of times people will post, you know, like, hey, a market opened up, and they'll have the thing there. They will also have like they have like their own little sites you can go to that will list like the different trade goods and stuff. But for now, before I veer too far off track yet once again, I'm going to talk about the two different kinds of markets. There are community markets and closed markets. At least these are the terms I've come to understand. Like we are right here in Kitty Corner. Essentially, this market is ran by one village or maybe a collection of villages. And it is looking nice. I love this little thing. I think that's either limestone or chert used. But that's looking pretty good. And they got their own little flag here. But closed markets are, you know, ran by, you know, specific people of the village, and it's not really open for people to jump in and sell their goods. More or less, this is a pretty handy one, because even though they only have one currency, the copper coin or paw coin, a lot of this market is operated through the value of the items, and it is not influenced by other factors too. So even though, yes, I know a lot, because you see, like, you can sell different things for a good amount of coins here, and they almost always have options to trade. What is this guy? As you can see in these, especially in these markets, you can run into a lot of people. I mean, you can at community markets as well, but you know, it's just a different feel sometimes. You know, you can sit here and have, you know, all kinds of. Oh. never really know, because these are also good spots. You don't have to worry about really getting attacked thanks to the visitor gates. Okay, that works too. Broccoli. Hey, Broccoli, if you see this, good seeing you, buddy. The more things that you can do. Oh, I'm so happy to see you, Broccoli. If you're wondering, oh, that is crazy. Ah. Oh, I forgot to change my presentation name. Yeah. I don't care, it's okay. Yes, I mean, let's see. Yeah, 20 people in game. Yeah. Okay. I got to do a little insert, I apologize. But yeah, Citadel is definitely one that I have to try out and look at it. I apologize if this is a little boring, but it's an interaction like these that you can only really and safely get at marketplaces where you don't have to worry about getting attacked. You're just chilling, talking with people. You can find out all kinds of information, especially if you notice I asked about any hostile activities. Always keep in mind, some news and no news is better than not knowing at all. Yeah, that's why I'll never stream this game. It's essentially the same as doxing yourself, and snail will come. That's why I don't know if you notice I keep this area over here blurred out because I don't want to put the other people I have with me in jeopardy. Unfortunately, I can't just hide it. Oh lordy. But yeah. Okay, back to back to that. But yeah, you never know what you'll find. People wise. A lot of hermits and small groups, they come to markets like these, and you can sell different things. Once again, I'm getting off track. I apologize, but yeah, one of the best things about these markets is that it's really easy to get into the market, especially when they sell, like salt crystals from the resources. You can make silk for them, pick some mushrooms, and one of my more favorite ways of getting in there is the venison, which they're out of right now. Beaver, orca, different kinds of meats, wax, cave clay. It's really easy to get into this market, and the all-important river pearls. It's really easy to get into these kind of markets, and you can get, you go around, you can find cool stuff to buy, some really good solid upgrades. Like, what is this? A 230 frying pan sounds really good. I might have to save up for that. And even got armor right now. But these kind of markets are really dedicated. And a lot of times, like these notice boards, they'll have different things you can right click on, and sometimes they'll have messages for you, as well as these all-important notice boards here with the material accounts. You can right click and read, and you get to learn the discoveries of everything at these notice boards. So it's really good to stop by these and just read everything you can, so you can unlock all the discoveries, so you can make make new items, as well as find use for any resources they have on display. And this is another thing, it's usually not mandatory in markets, but having a public workspace is really a good way to get people to visit your market. Because like I especially love, yeah, let me go ahead and drop this down and get rid of that stupid blur for y'all. Yeah, as you can see, for hermits and other people who don't have access to certain quality things, This stuff can really help you out. Like, I use this potter's wheel a lot. It has helped me make a lot of good. It has helped me turn quality 40s clay into quality 75 or so pots. And then, you know, they got like the killins and the smelters and whatnot. That's a damn good smelter. But yeah, generally markets will have like an open workspace right here. They have like the trellises here, so people can't, you know, try to rob your kiln while you're waiting for it to cook. You can just sit right here, let it cook, and nobody can get access to your kiln or smelter. So you'd have to sit there and wait, unfortunately. But for good quality, yeah. Of course, the downside is if there's multiple people waiting to use the kiln, you would have to wait in line, and it could be hours, because a lot of people put in like their tree planter spots and other various things in their kiln, and it takes about an hour for it to cook. So if they got multiples to cook, you might want to come back another day. So essentially, this will be it for the closed market. The main draw, of course, you know, you'll have a lot of people to communicate with. Occasionally, a lot of people in your shoes, as well as easy access into the market. It's very clear what they want, and it's not too difficult to get what you need. So I believe I should have enough to visit the next market. So off we go into the next market. Now this is definitely, as you can see, a community market. One of the biggest things about the community market, well, yes, there is, as you can see, a ton of different things to buy. See, they're all over the place. This one's people buying and selling. When you see the coins on the tables, they're trying to buy stuff from you, and anything else they're trying to, they have items for you. See, like, they want to buy stuff, sell stuff. And one of the big differences between the community market and a closed market is more or less the value of items. Like, things become very as you can see, it is really hard to get into these kind of markets. A lot of the times the easiest way is to trade in-game tokens for coins, which is kind of unfortunate, really. But the main purpose behind that, because even though this market does have an exchange, you have to keep in mind that the community market is a lot like, you know, money in governments, really. If they overprint, say, gold coins, or they overprint silver, which I think hopefully they stop with the silver, or at least make it cost like 4 or 5 bars of silver for 100 coins. But if they overprint the coins, then the value of that coin goes down. So it's kind of like inflation. But as you can see, there's a lot of people. Each of these little nubs is a seller or a market person, and they even got a little soccer field going on. Sorry, getting a little off track. But they have like these bots that go around on their own website, and they check and they update each and every barter stand, as well as that stand's location. So this setup is pretty solid, but the fact is, trying to get in, like, It's a decent exchange rate. Um, Everything is determined, by the people. So, let's say this merchant rope here that's cost apparently a game token. You can probably buy it for a cheap, like gold coins in another spot. Or so if you want to avoid scams, you're just gonna have to use common sense. This right here is a scam. I'm sorry whoever owns this stall, but this is ridiculous. A token for meh quality pants. Brother. Anyways. Jesus. Let's go to another stand. Oh, let's see, like right here. With these guys. Alright. I see. Brother. I mean, I can understand it being almost a 200 quality meat grinder, but brother. We'll pass on that. You see, the prices do fluctuate and vary. This guy has a lot of food. You see, you got a lot of. This is pretty cool. The icons, ignore them. You're more or less looking for the ×1 number. So basically, like, his foods are costing about 1 silver coin for any of his foods. That's pretty cool. If I ever get any silver coins, I'll definitely stop by here. Because, you never run out of food. And then we got, like here, this guy is buying things. I mean, 1 silver, that's pretty decent, but yeah. Oh. You see, it's these kind of markets, they need this kind of setup, because if everybody is just trying to sell their stuff, then there's no money going around. So having options like this to sell items, this gives people an option to get into the market. But as difficult as it is with the community markets, I mean, yeah, you can get some really, really good stuff here. Like not a bad pickaxe for 30 coins. Nice saw. As well as some pretty decent sausage and stuff here. These encumbered roast, I'm surprised he's not sold out of those. Quality 94 with a good strength modifier. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some silver coins. But unlike the other market, the closed market, I'm afraid you'll have a rougher time trying to find communications, like with I had that with that guy Brocoli. That's perception intelligence. Yeah. Oh, you can even buy bronze here. Not the greatest of quality, but if you don't have bronze, that's a pretty good deal right there. Was it two silver coins for a bronze bar? That's pretty good. Yeah, that's a pretty decent hammer for 40 coins. And of course, tar. Oh yes, tar is another seller too. For the early and mid games. I am so sorry I forgot about that. But yeah, you even have a jewelry maker here too. So more or less, I mean, I can do this all day looking through these stalls and showing you the different things. But the main thing here is if you can get into a community market and you can start having a stall and trade, which I will go over in the next video, covering on the barter stands, as well as a few things you can do with them. Oh, they even have some stuff here too. I don't know the quality of that killing, and I don't want to anger that person, so I'm just gonna keep walking. Yeah, of course, a theft area. So if you want to do, trades with other people, they have a spot here. I believe in Kitty Corner, it's at the north section. They have it paved off as well. So if you're directly trading with people, you can do that in these little areas. I believe they have this cairn here. Yeah. So yeah. Let's get over to this area over here. Oh, right. Okay, so with all that in mind, I don't want this to keep dragging on for too long. It's already going to be a massive video. So hopefully I can get this cut down in half. But yeah, more or less the value of items do change, and especially with demand. Like as I said earlier, wax is pretty much king in the early game. Wax, and then tar will be another big item. I can't believe I forgot about that. Tar, pearls, then gems, and all kinds of different stuff will factor in as well. But when you're trading with groups like, your neighbors and stuff, it's more or less like, hey, I need this, do you have this? And, well, I don't have much, but I have some wax, or I have a barrel of tar that I'm working on, More or less, it's just kind of common sense. It's kind of like, how much do you want, and how much do you have, and how bad do you want that item? You would have to use your best judgment, but generally one wax can get you a lot of good stuff early on. It's really hard to pinpoint the exact value, but generally people will have the very first pickaxes, even though if they're like a bad quality of like 20 something or 30, people will be charging maybe 3 to 5 wax just for that. So, and tar will go a long way from early even into late game. Even though tar will lose its effectiveness or effective value in the late game, a lot of people will still desire it, just because tar making takes a long time, and it takes a lot of wood to keep the kilns going to produce a reasonable amount of tar to do really any trading or personal use, as tar is used for snacks, tarring your rowboats, your nars, and even people who value aesthetics will desire tar sticks just so they can have like the black roofs on their housing and whatnot. So yeah, without further ado, before I keep rambling on, I would like to thank y'all for watching this video, and if this has helped you understand some things out. So without further ado, I appreciate you watching, checking out this video. If this has helped you any, do let me know down below in the comment section. Give it a like, subscribe for more, and if there's anything you'd like to know, or any further details you wish to know, do let me know down below in the comment section, or hit me up on Discord. I do have a group, quite a few cool people in there right now. But yeah, I hope y'all have a fantastic day, and I hope to catch you on the next one, which I will definitely get worked on for the barter stands, now that I have a means to showcase and work with you through them. So, yeah, all right. Peace out.